but it's okay. So thank you so much, Ashley Sinclair, for hopping on my Tips from the Top. Really excited about this one. I know anybody who's been to any type of conference knows exactly who you are. So I'm gonna have you start with your just sharing your story, because I know a lot of people have never heard it like all the way out. And then I'll kind of ask you some questions after that.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm excited. Hey everyone, my name is Ashley Sinclair. I am from Texas, and I found this business, or the business found me, however you want to say it. Back in 2011, I had a friend that sent me a message on Facebook, and I use the term, oh, and sorry, I'm supposed to be looking here. I'm too cheap. I'm too cheap to fix my computer. And so I'm like looking up at my screen. Sorry. So I had this girl that I sat next to in junior high for about 8.5 seconds. And then we became Facebook friends years later. And she sent me this message, and the gist of it was, I've tried to go back and find it because this was from 2011. And you guys, this message was ridiculously long. Like all the things that you tell your new team members not to do, that's what Tiff did to me, right? Like she sent me all this info, way too much stuff. She sent me that there was this fat patch that was cold and wet and it smelled like icy hot, and she found it at a hair show, and you put it on and you lose inches, and that you're supposed to drink water, but she was a rebel and drank Dr. Pepper and still lost inches and ate chicken strips. I mean, y'all, all this was in this message. It was the craziest message. But so I got all the way to the end of it, and she said, you need to do this. There's these ladies up north. I'll never forget that part. There's these ladies up north that are making 10 grand and more a month. And if they can do it, so can we. And, you should think about doing this with me, and you'd be so great, blah, 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 blah. Goes on and on. And so I get to the end of the message and I deleted it. I said, yeah, okay. Number one, so sad for this sweet girl that I knew in junior high. She got sucked into a pyramid scheme. I feel so bad for her. That was the first thing. The second thing was I had no time. My little 6-year-old that you just saw here, at the time, she was 3 months old. My other daughter was 2.5 years old. And I owned a traditional business. I owned a lingerie store. So it's really funny that, that we're laughing at these because like I'm coming full circle because I owned a lingerie store and fit women for bras for a living for 8 years. I started my business when I was 22. So I had this store. I sang in a classic rock band on the weekends. I taught Bible study. I owned a bridal show. I mean, you guys, people say I'm too busy. I'm too busy to do this. And I always just laugh, and I'm like, nobody understands busy like I understand busy because I've been there. But here's the difference. I wanted more. And, we always talk about how busy people get things done. And so if somebody ever tells me, oh, I'm too busy, I always say, do you think I asked you because I thought you were sitting around on the couch watching TV and eating bonbons? Like that's not why I reached out to you. I want to work with busy people because I was the busiest person I know when I got started. And anyway, so that's kind of where I was in life whenever this business found me and whenever Tiff sent that message to me. And I just thought, pyramid scheme, nobody ever makes money at stuff like that. I am way too busy. We don't have the extra money to invest in something like that, because all I knew of network marketing is that you bought in with this kit that was really expensive, and then you had to like finance all this product and stock all this product in your house. And, I'd just seen friends do that and regret it. And so I didn't want to be another one of those girls. So I said no. I didn't say anything. Actually, I just ignored her. That was before Facebook told on you and said, Ashley read your message, right? And so I 2 weeks passed. To make a very long story short, you're missing out a really funny part about my father-in-law and Twitter, but it's a whole other story for another day. And I decided, what if this product actually works? I want it myself, and I know other people that will want it. I thought, what if what if people actually do make money at this, you know? And so I jumped in, I called Tiff, I gave her my credit card and my social security number, signed up, and I walked out of my office in my store up to the front. My 2 managers were there. And I was like, okay, girls, we're going to start selling fat patches at this store. And they were like, what? I was like, I don't know. It's these patches, because I still didn't understand the concept of what they look like. I'd never even tried one or seen one in person. So I was like, they're like these patches and they smell like icy hot. And I was thinking those back patches that I used to use for my back whenever I'd get a backache, right? I was like, you know, they're like patches, and I don't know, you stick them on and then you get skinny. I mean, my girlfriend ate chicken strips and drank Dr. Pepper and she got skinny. So we're going to just try it. We'll make a little money and then we'll move on. But you know, Rachel, what's so funny is I think part of the reason why leaders really, I mean, we beg our teams to get plugged in and to get involved with training is because, you know, so many of us, that's where we kind of saw the vision. You know, I started that training and I remember watching this video of Pam doing a wrap party and saying, no, negative ghostwriter, like I'm never going to do a wrap party ever. But there was something about her like aura and her energy and her, I just went, oh my gosh, I could do this. What would happen if I did do this? And I just decided at that moment, without Tiff telling me, without anybody saying anything, I didn't even have my kit. I had not even tried the product yet. I just remember looking at my husband and saying, I am going to go make us $1 million. Like I knew right away, probably within the first week of just watching that training and saying, I can do this and I'm going to give it a shot. Because if girls up north can make 10 grand a month, then I can at least make 5 or 6, you know, like surely I could do at least half of that being from the South. And so that's what I decided to do. So I just jumped in and I went gangbusters. I mean, I went insane, just texting everybody I knew, calling everybody I know. There was just zero fear. I wasn't worried about what people thought, maybe a few, but for the most part, like I made that list and I just went, I'm going to do this. And if people tell me no, that's okay. I don't take it personally because I told people no. I mean, how many times did I get asked to do something or come to a party? And I was like, no, that's not for me. Good for you. So I just didn't take it personal. And my message was the exact same to everyone. It was, hey girl, how you been? I know this sounds nuts, but I'm about to go make $1 million. Do you want to come with me or not? Like that was my line. That's what I sent to just about everybody that was on my list. Just, I'm about to go make $1 million. And I truly felt like there was this crazy, weird confidence that was so undeserved because I had no clue what I was doing. People would say, well, what's in it? I don't know. Well, what does it do? Haven't even tried one. Well, what's the ingredient list? I'm sure I got a box around here somewhere. Like I had no clue what the heck I was doing. How do you make money? I don't know, but I mean, you get cash and there's bonuses and there's these gin things. And I was like, we got to go executive. Let's go. And, you know, I remember Tiff telling me that she had hit Ruby and my whole team there was like 4 of us, but at the beginning we were like, oh, she's a Ruby. I mean, we would have these meetings and we would message people and go, there is a Ruby from Houston who is coming up to do our training tonight and our party. And you really want to be here because she is a Ruby. I mean, forget this ambassador crap, black diamond stuff. I mean, we didn't care. We didn't know. It was just this crazy on fire. Let's go. You're the idiot if you don't do this. That's truly how I felt. I felt sorry for the people that said no. Like you're a complete fool for saying no. And so, yeah, I started out and that's what I did. And we just went. I looked at a picture of a diamond chart and I said, okay. I looked at it like a puzzle. I was like, there's 24 people that are on this chart. I mean, hopefully other people sign other people up, but even if they don't, I don't care. I'm going diamond. And so I signed up 19 of the 24 distributors on my diamond chart when I went diamond. It took me 7 weeks. I know some people have done it in like 6 seconds, but it took me 7 weeks. And then, so that takes us to October 24th. And then November 29th, I was a triple diamond. That 30 days later, I went triple. I mean, and then 4 months after that, I went ambassador. It just, I can't explain that time other than to say, we just had zero fear. We were so damn excited. It's not even funny. And we just knew we had that vision really, really, really early on that we can do this and nobody's going to stop us from doing it. And so, yeah, that's it. There you go.
Wow, that is amazing. I think I've never heard that part of it. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Okay, so what would you say? Well, so you're saying with Tiffany, with the girl who enrolled you, what was she doing that made you decide? Was she consistently following up with you, or was just like her post, or it was just on your heart? Like what made you say I'm gonna sign up?
Yeah, no, honestly, it was 2 weeks because she never followed up with me. I mean, she was brand new to the business. She wasn't even a Ruby when I joined, right? Like she became a Ruby because I joined, kind of thing. Like I was one of the legs for her husband to go executive, kind of thing. So, no, and again, that's kind of the funny part of the story that I love to share. It just makes it a little bit longer, but I went, it was about 2 weeks after I'd gotten Tiffanys messages, and I couldn't, it was just kind of in the back of my mind was more what I would say. It wasn't this like deep need to go do it, maybe just kind of in the back of my mind. And we were over at my in-laws house. My husband's parents are unreal. I call them mom and dad. They're the most precious people. And so we're over there at their house, and my father-in-law, the reason I'm in this business, I swear at the timing that I was, is because my father-in-law said this one sentence. He said, do y'all think I should get on the Twitter? And I was like, okay, what? And he said, do y'all think I should get on the Twitter? And he said, I just see all these people like twigging. I was like, it's not even a thing. We're laughing so hard we can't even stand it. And my next sentence was, let me tell you why you don't want to get on the Twitter or the Facebook or whatever. You will have random girls from junior high that you sit next to for like 5 seconds send you messages about joining their pyramid scheme. And that's what I said. And I turned to my mother-in-law and I said, speaking of, Mom, have you ever heard, because she watches QVC all the time, or she used to. I said, have you ever heard of a product called the Ultimate Body Applicator? It's like this patch and it's cold and wet and you get skinny when you put it on. She goes, oh, no, but I want one. Just like that. And it's like, that was it for me. I mean, I know it's crazy, but it's really like my in-laws that sort of that conversation is what sparked it. And who knows, I'm sure Tiff would have followed up and maybe, but the timing of it was because of that conversation. And when she said that, I said, oh, I know, me too. What if it really works? Because Audrey was 3.5 months old. I mean, my stomach was just in terrible shape. I don't have my before and after pictures right here. My stomach was in terrible shape. And so I wanted one too. And I said, well, me too. So I start telling my mom about it, or even my mother-in-law. And I'm like, it's just one of those pyramid things and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh, Ashley, do it. How much is it? And I was like, it's 200. At the time it was $200. They changed it a week after I joined, 2 weeks after I joined. Nobody on my team signed up for $199. They all got in for $99, but I signed up for $199, and you got 8 wraps with that. And she goes, oh, Ashley, do it. She goes, first of all, you'll be great at it. Put it in your store. See what happens. You sell them in your store. Because again, I'm thinking from a retail mentality, not a building a team. And I said, oh, but it's one of those, like, you get people and they get people and you do parties. And I was like, Mom, that is just so not me. She goes, oh, Ashley, we had a chance to do something in the 80s and our friends went on and made $1 million and we couldn't afford the $500 buy-in. She goes, it's $200. You get 8 wraps, you use 4 of them, and I'll pay you back for the other 100. I'll use 4 of them and we'll see what happens. That's what, I mean, seriously, like, that was it. And my husband's over there in the corner, like, he's like, are you kidding me? If you add one more thing to your plate, I'm going to lose it on you, Ashley. Have y'all ever had that fight with your husband where there's like, if you don't stop saying yes to everybody and their dog. So we had just had that fight. And so here I am over there like, oh, maybe I could do it. So anyway, that's what it was.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's good. That's really good. Okay, so I had another question about your story too. Okay, so take me through this promotion, like the momentum, because it's like you just like, okay, we're running, so we're gonna run and we're gonna keep running and running and running and running. So how did that work for you?
Well, I always try to share with this part of my story. I feel like if you're going to talk about the speed of it, right, and you're going to be like, oh, actually 7 months, and blah, blah, blah. It's amazing. Don't get me, I don't want to belittle the accomplishment, because that's amazing, right? Especially, I didn't know it was amazing, though. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's only when you set a record that you realize, like, oh, that's kind of difficult to do, So it's not that I'm all about like, oh, I did it in this time. So I try to share the other side of it, which is this. You are always going to build your network. you're in network marketing. So if you are going to be in any kind of business, including network marketing, you either have to have a network or build your network, right? And so when I stepped in, I mean, part of my story, you guys, is that I had a store at that time. I'd had a store for almost 8 years. And, you know, it started this business when I was 22. I was 29 whenever I found this. And so, you know, I had built for a long time a network. I had built a trust in this town. I was kind of known a little bit. I don't want to say known, but I mean, people around town kind of knew me as like the young entrepreneur, right? Like I had bought this bridal show 2 years prior. So I owned, you know how you'll do a vendor event and you pay that vendor $500 to have a 10 by 10 booth? Like I was the girl you'd pay the $500 to. Like I would host the bridal show in Lubbock. And so I just had all these, I was the president of the Bridal Service Associates. Like I just had all these contacts that I had made from scratch, because I'm not from this town, but I'd made these contacts just knocking on doors and going to networking events and meeting people. And so that's really where I started. So I had built my network. So I tell you that to say this. When I sat down and I made my hundreds list, like they teach you, and you know, that was the same training I did, make your hundreds list. I'm jotting people down and I'm like, I don't know 100 people that would want a fat patch. I don't know 100 people that need extra income, right? Like I dealt with a lot of business owners, but here's the thing that I started thinking about. Okay, I've been in business for almost 8 years and I didn't even pay myself until 2 years ago. This is what I was thinking in my head. It took me almost 5 years to really make a paycheck that was over just like, oh, we had a good day at the store, I'll take a few hundred, and a few people paid in cash. If any of y'all are with the IRS, just pretend you didn't hear that, right? Like, oh, I'll just pull a few hundreds out of the drawer here and there. I mean, I didn't take a salary. My girls that worked for me made more money than I did. You know, I had girls that were making $18 an hour, and here I was, you know, making 98 cents an hour. So as I thought about that, it made me go, okay, then there's other business owners that are probably in my shoes that are struggling to get started, or they've gotten started and they're busy like I am, but they could use their network for this. And so that's why I just started texting people. So I had a long list and I had a lot of people that I could talk to. I would say it wasn't until about, maybe 2014. Maybe 2014 was the year that I really kind of started going. So I was about 2.5, almost 3 years in, where I started saying, okay, my warm market's feeling a little chilly. Like it's time to branch out. You know, I need to do a little bit more here. You know, and I did a Facebook business page and all of that stuff. But, you know, I had a great market to start with. And that's where the speed comes in. So part of it was I worked my tail off. Okay. I mean, I will never, you guys, you legit have to give up some stuff to get what you want that fast. You don't go from a $0 paycheck to, my first paycheck on September 15th was $0 because I had joined August 30th. I hadn't even made any money, right? So my first paycheck was $0. You know, you don't go from that. And then my 7th paycheck was 42 grand. You don't go from $0 to 42 grand in 7 months without giving up some stuff, right? Like you can't. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know which way was up. I don't really remember much of my daughters being babies. It's just hard for me to say. It makes me want to cry. But I look at the life we have now that they will remember. And it's because I gave up those months then. And, you know, whatever that looks like for you, I'm not saying ignore your babies. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, I didn't eat much. I didn't sleep. When I did eat, it was crap. When I didn't sleep much, I did not take care of my health. I didn't have sex with my husband a whole lot for those 7. I mean, you can ask him, like, it was not a pretty time in our marriage. I mean, this is just me being 100% honest, because I don't ever want to paint this picture like, oh, just post a few times and work really hard and you can go ambassador in 7 months. Because anybody that tells you that, it's BS, you guys. It's BS. I gave up a lot. I sacrificed a lot, but I had an incredible network. I had an incredible network to start with because I had done that work prior. Some of you come into network marketing and you're like, okay, I've got 7 friends and a few moms that I met at a park one time that I would feel awkward reaching out to, right? So you got to start. You got to start blitzing. You got to start building that network. You got to start adding on Facebook and adding on Instagram and joining groups and engaging. And you've got to build a network. I had a network, which is where the speed was able to come in. Does that make sense? That's where I didn't have to spend 7 months building a network and then reap the fruit. Like I had done the work prior. So even though I'd never done a network marketing company, I had been networking for 8 years. And so that's why I think there was a big, like, okay, people said yes because I was a business owner. So I got some no's, don't get me wrong. The very first girl I asked that I thought would be amazing told me no. But the second girl said yes and went presidential in 5.5 months and changed my business. I mean, she went presidential before I did because I never went pres. I skipped. But anyway, does that help? That's probably way more than you wanted, but there you
go. Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, yeah. So yes, that does. That helps out a whole lot. Yes. So, okay, so I have a question about, let's see, where do we want to start? Okay, well, congratulations on Surf and Turf, first of all.
Oh my God. Oh, hey, thanks. I'm so pumped.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. I'm so excited though. I can't wait to see you guys post all about it and all that jazz. So
I'm going on the second trip, so I'll be like so y'all will see all the first pictures. I couldn't go on the first trip, so I had to do the second. But yeah, it'll be good.
It's all good. Okay, so I have a question. So in terms of rubies, so let's just take me through the process because that's how you got there. You had to build those personally enrolled rubies that came in June. So take me your process.
Woo. All right.
Take me through your process of newbie to ruby. So those people that you signed in June, how did you take them to ruby just like that in order to make that happen?
Well, it was very, I just had this thought process that why would people not want to do this? So it was very confusing to me when I would sign someone up and then they wouldn't do anything, right? Like I didn't have a brain cell for that because when I signed up, I put people in the computer. That's what you were supposed to do. So, I mean, to us, it was all about the charts. We had those old school charts and we would print them out. And it was like, you get a Ruby chart and you get a Ruby chart and you get a Ruby chart. I mean, everybody got a Ruby chart. And I would tell them to pencil in names. And then whenever they got signed, whenever they had asked that person and that person said yes, that they were allowed to write their name in pen. But I mean, we wrote we just wrote names in pencil, and I just had them envisioning that, I think, before they even started. And then the other thing was, it's so funny, like I am really big on third party, validation because I didn't have a testimony at first. I didn't have a wrap testimony. The first 2 wraps I used, I was like, what am I selling? This doesn't even work. One of the first girls I put it on, she bloated right in front of my face. Like I literally watched her stomach get bigger. I was like, what am I selling? But I had seen enough crazy pictures to believe. And Tiff kept saying, you just got to do 4. You got to do 4. So I used her before and after pictures. I used her story about how she'd gone from rags to riches. Now she was a ruby, right? Like I just was using her story and her success. I used other people's stories. We didn't post a lot back then. That wasn't the thing. Some people were like posting 5 times a day. And I was like, you are so annoying. I would never be that girl. And then now look, so I didn't really understand posting. For me, it was just all about that one-on-one face-to-face. And so we had a lot of, you kind of start local and then your tree begins to grow bigger. Or for me, I grew local because of my network was in Lubbock, right? And so then all of a sudden it's like I had this team in Dallas. And so I would do a 3-way call for my sister and her friend, or then I would do a 3-way call for then that friend and her friend. And so I was doing calls all day long. I was sitting at coffee shops all day long, just bringing people in. And so, I think the chart was huge, and then having people find their 4 loyal customers. And we didn't know there were any other products. I mean, I'm sure we figured it out later, but I mean, I'd only used wraps. I didn't even use greens until I was like 3 months. I was like a triple diamond. I was like, well, I guess I can afford to get some of those greens everybody's talking about. Like I didn't use fat fighters. I didn't use greens. I didn't use anything for so long. I only sold wraps. And that's where I started. So I was like, everybody get wraps and gel. Every single customer needs to get wraps and gel, because if you get 4 of those people and then you order wraps and gel, we'll all be at 400. And that's what they taught us in the training. So that's what I taught everybody. I was like, everybody get wraps and gel. You get wraps and gel, and you get wraps and gel, and you get wraps and gel. And I just thought that's how you did it. And so that's what we did, and got 400 boxes. There was some girls that just went slower than I wanted them to. And so I was like, Okay, let's see. Okay, you have signed somebody up, so I'm going to give my next distributor over here to you. There was no thought process behind it. There was no prayer. There was no like what I do now, right? It was just you get a DT, you get a DT. I just sort of started placing it like a big puzzle. And, you know, some of them took off and we're really thankful for that little boost of help. And a lot of them did nothing. But it wasn't about the ones that did nothing. It was about the ones that did something that changed my whole business. So.
I like that. That's good. Okay, so what does a month-end push look like for your team? How have you brought large amounts of volume in at month-end?
Oh, let's see. Well, I mean, I have a whole checklist I can run through that's like right here on my computer since you asked.
Yes.
If you'll give me 2 shakes, I will have that for you. Let's see. I mean, the very first thing is that you got to believe that miracles can happen at the end of the month, because I have watched girls need 1,000 BV to go emerald and do it all without placing one order before, you know, on the last day of the month. I think it takes a group effort when you're talking about a big amount of volume. Let me see, end of month volume. Where's my deal? I've got a whole thing on this. Oh, by the way, I did a Zoom on this that was really good too. If you...
Yes, send it all to me.
Yeah, I will send it to you. Tips for the end of the month. One of the main things I tell people to do is go to your existing loyal customers are huge for me. So, you know, that retention, making sure that your existing loyal customers know about the coffee, that they, you know, asking them if they want to try another products. I mean, all of that I think is so important to do too. Picking up the phone is huge. I always tell my team right now, end of month, and you should be doing it all month, but this is when you pick up the phone. Hey girl, I'm putting in orders for hair, skin, and nails. I know you were interested. I've got 2 spots left before the end of the month. Do you want me to include your order? You know, right there.
You find that making the phone call is better than sending the message?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, anytime you can. And obviously there's plenty of people that I've met through Facebook that I can only voice message them or only Facebook message them. I don't have their phone number. But anytime you can, you know, voice message people, I think that's huge. Following up with all of your loyals. And then here's the other thing I've been teaching. You know, your loyals that you personally signed up, of course you're taking care of those people. But if you signed up a girl who maybe signed up 6 customers and then she left the business for whatever reason, or she's on hiatus, or she's whatever, just out to lunch and doesn't know what she has her hands on, those loyals are your team. That's your volume. Like, people always want to know, where do I get all? I'm like, the volume's there. The volume, if the volume's been there before, it will be there again. You need to go back to those people and then reminding them that they can place a one-time order is huge. You know, checking perk points, letting those people know, hey, my name's Rachel. I just wanted you to know that I am your new It Works rep. That's how I've been saying it. I'm your new It Works rep. If you need anything, I am happy to help you place any orders that you might need. Because you've completed your loyal customer agreement, the awesome thing about that is that you get to order a one-time order anytime you want, you know? So if there's ever anything you want, I'm here, save my number. I mean, I reach out to those people all the time. I feel like there's like over 250,000 customers that are in my downline, right? How many of them are active? Maybe 2,000, I don't know. I wouldn't even know, but I don't want to throw out a number. But 5,000, 10,000 of them, like the other 240,000, that's volume, you know, like it's all there for you. Asking a friend to host a last minute wrap party for you. I do this all the time. I'm like, create that urgency. Okay. It's the last 2 days of the month. Put something out at your house or go to the coffee shop down the street and say, hey girls, I'm going to be doing a wrap sample tonight for anybody that wants to show up. And I mean, you may only have one person that comes, doesn't matter. Throw that end of month party. I think that's always a good use of your time. Going to your loyal customers with perk points, let them know that, and I don't tell them that they have perk points. I always say that they have $15 in free product. Don't ever say perk points. That's like that's a term we use. Our loyals don't know what perk points are, right? Like that's not a brain cell they have. So we need to, it's like Old Navy bucks, right? Like, what does that even mean? Just send me a gift card with how much I can freaking spend that's free. That's what I want to know. That's what your loyals want to know, right? So I'll tell them. And you may even make up something really cute for them. If they've got, let's say they've got $30 in perk points or something. What I'll do is I'll recommend a pack. And I'll say, hey, just so you know, by the 31st, I can take $30 off of this pack. Would you like to place an order for it and try out these products? And so, because you always want them to be placing an order for more, right? Because if they've got 30 perk points and they spend 30 BV, you get $0. Okay, you've done that work for zero. So you always want them to go above and beyond. So the power of suggestion, I think, is huge. Sometimes I'll say, I can take $30 today only. I can take $30 off your defining gel and wrap package. Would you want to do that? Take advantage of it, or does that make sense? Something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to open up my Facebook. So now my notifications are on. Here's an example that I sent today to a customer who had $18 in perk points. Hi, Linda. I realized today that you have $18 worth of free product to spend. Wahoo! This product credit can be used on any orders outside of your auto ship. Would you like to redeem those for hair, skin, and nails or greens? That would only be $15 your cost. I'm happy to help if you'd like. So I try to put it in terms they can get, you know what I mean? Like that'll let you get hair, skin, and nails for only $15 but it's giving them, it's not just saying, hey, just want you to know you have 25 perk points. What does that do for people? Nothing. That means nothing to them. Hey, I know you were wanting to try hair, skin, and nails and greens. Listen, I can take $15 off today. You have $15 in free product. So I've gone to canceled distributors that have quit but still order every once in a while. Hey, Christy, I was thinking today that you could be earning some free product on these orders that you're placing anyway. I know the business wasn't for you. What if you let me take care of you as a loyal customer? I get new loyal customers every single month that way because you've got a lot of people that just got excited, but the business wasn't for them. That's okay. Not everybody's meant to do this. All right. So some of them just want to be a really good loyal customer for you. And that's all right. Let them be that. Checking for declines is huge. We always spend time going back through the declines. Let's say you've got 10 declines and 9 of the people ignore you or they don't update it, but the 1 does. That's 54. That's just like getting a brand new loyal when that auto ship goes through. So checking for declines is huge, especially if you see AVS. And I'm talking 1 million miles an hour. I've had 2 cups of keto coffee today and I'm just high on life, but if you see AVS, that means that it's just an expiration date, that the card number is the same, but the expiration date. So I always go through my declines and then sort by AVS. Those are the first ones I call because that means that their order's not declining because there's no money in the account or that they changed their card or deleted their card or whatever. That just means that, look, they got a brand new card in the mail and the expiration date is not updated or that there's a billing shipping error. So those are who I start with because they're typically the ones that go, oh my gosh, I got a new card. And I always say that, like, did you get a new card by chance? That way I'm not saying your card declined this month because I think that's that's embarrassing to hear for anybody, right? Like anytime somebody says your card declined, I always feel the need to like flash my bank account. Like there's money, right? Like, and so don't do that to people. Don't do it to your customers. Just, hey, did you by chance get a new card or update it because this order's not processing? Okay. Go to your stylist or your favorite mani-pedi spot. Ask them if you can set up a come-and-go wrap party table, facials or body wraps. Greens, do something samples. Do a customer appreciation for their customers. Contacting current loyal customers, asking if they have a friend that they would refer or if they would host a post for you. I do this a lot toward the end of the month. They'll take a picture and say, hey, my friend Ashley's looking for 5 more product testers for the new keto coffee. I've tried it. I've loved it. If you're interested, let her, and then I'll friend those people. So it's a good way to build a follow-up list. I got 4 customers like that in July. I got that. All loyals within their 30-day. Oh, wait. No, that's not correct. Don't listen to me. Asking new loyals to invite their friends to a virtual wrap party. And then I'll let them win a free box of wraps or I'll send them a sample of whatever product it is that they want if any loyals sign up. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I do. And then, of course, little month-end contests I think always help. There's so many that are out there, but anytime you can do just a quick little contest with your team. But it's not any one thing, you guys. It's looking at your month end as the entire. you got to take a lot of different things to make the month end work. It can't just be the last day of the month I try to do all this stuff, right? Like, and how many of you have ever felt like on the first, just so dang exhausted because you just wore yourself out from the last 4, 5, 6 days of the month, right? And inevitably, I always think this month will be different. This month, I'm going to act like it's the 31st on the 1st. Every single month I do this, every month. And then I'll look up and I'm like, it's the 7th and I haven't signed a loyal, or I've got to have a wrap party or whatever it is. Like, it's just that procrastination. So if you will let yourself be the person that says, I want to act like it's month end. I mean, the stuff that I watch my team accomplish at the end of the month is always so mind blowing to me that I think, my gosh, what if we did even half of that the rest of the month? We could triple our volume. So I think part of it too is I love end of month, don't get me wrong, but part of it is not believing in end of month as any more than you believe in the 1st through the 25th. Like the 1st through the 25th needs to be golden for you, just like the end of month is, you know? So
that's good. Thank you. Yes, and I'll have you send me that too. So yeah, thank you. That's good. Okay, so how do you start and end your day? Like, what do you do?
How do I what and what?
Start and end your day. Because I think a lot of people don't know, like, you know, how you homeschool. So yeah, like a lot going on. So how do you start and then end your day?
Oh, it's such a good question. Okay, so the very simple answer, if you don't think about anything else that happens in between, is I have this really weird ritual, but I've been doing this since December of 2011. What year is this? December 2012. This is my 15th. Okay, so we were in Jamaica, December 2012, because we had just had our 10-year anniversary. And I read this book called 1,000 Gifts. Some of you may have read it. It's by Ann Voskamp. It's intense. She's very languagey. I'm not necessarily recommending the book to every person because she's a poet, okay? But the whole book is all about finding goodness, beauty, and gratefulness in everything you see. And her whole premise of the book is that if you look at any miracle in the Bible, if you look at anything that Jesus did, thankfulness like always precedes the miracle. That's sort of her whole shtick, is like, not shtick, but that's her premise of the book. Thankfulness always precedes the miracle. And so she was looking for a miracle in her life, and that's what she started with, was just writing down. She had this journal, like writing down in this journal every day till it got to 1,000 things, right, that she was thankful for. And so ever since then, it's this crazy, and I know it's a dumb ritual, I don't care. I wake up slowly. I'm not a like, oh, time for the day kind of gal. I have my second wind at night. I wake up in the morning. No, it's not pretty, right? So I like to, I put my toes out in front of me, right? Well, obviously my toes are always out in front of me, but you know what I mean? So I stretch my toes out. I got my legs out, and I like stretch my legs, and I'm still in bed, and I wiggle my toes, okay? I wiggle all 10 of them. I do have 10. If you only have 9, this still works. So I wiggle all my toes, and I start with my pinky toes, and I work my way in, and every single toe, I name something that I'm thankful for. Silly. So silly, but I start every single day with gratitude. And I don't know why I started with my toes. I don't know. I mean, you could do it with your fingers. You could pick your nose while you do it. I don't know why it's but it just is. That's not even in the book. That's just my thing. And so I start with thankfulness. And I really feel like that right there is part of the key to self-development, to just becoming a better person. Because here's the deal. If I get to the end of this journey with it works, and I'm not better than when I started, then what the heck was it all for, right? Like, I'm not doing all this and giving all this up for just a huge paycheck. Like, I want to be years and years ahead. I feel like I'm on a fast track of self-development. I want lessons that some people learn when they're 50 and 60. I want to be learning them now when I'm 30 to 35, right? That's one of my main goals. So I want that thankfulness, and I wanted to start that. So that's where I start. And then the end of my day always ends with something from a self-development book that I have by my bed, which I've got a ton of them, or encouragement, typically a little bit of both. So my whole deal is like, gosh, before you go to bed, put good vibes out, because the last thing that you think about before you go to bed, that's what that's how you go to bed. Have you ever, and I've done this before where I haven't read and I haven't been encouraging, and I'll wake up and I'm grinding my teeth, or I've locked my jaw, or I've like gotten anxious about something, right? That's why it's so good to put your phone in the other room. And I'll sleep with my phone by my bed. I'm very old school. I actually have like a real live alarm clock that I bought at Target for $8. Like, I put my phone in the other room because I don't want my phone and this and scrolling, which gets me nowhere, or, you know what I'm saying, messaging or whatever it is, or some article that I read that comes across my news feed to be the last thing that I'm reading before I go to bed, especially with how social media is. I just found that I was going to bed anxious and nervous and worried. So I started putting my phone in the other room. First of all, it makes it easier for kissy time with your husband if you don't have your phone, if you're not both like a zombie with your phone in front of your face. So that's the first reason. But the second reason is that even when I wake up in the morning, what's your first inclination when your phone's by your bed? Every time I sleep in a hotel, phone, right? It's the first thing you grab, my phone. Instead of doing my toe thing, instead of being thankful, instead of taking a minute, instead of rolling over and giving Dan a kiss and you know, cuddling for a minute and having that time together. So the phone in the other room is like one of the best tips that I can give you. Because to me, that helps me start and end my day. I feel like I got a leg up, if that makes any sense. I feel like I got a leg up. So now all the stuff in between, tons of stuff in between, but that's how I try to start and end.
That is good. That's good advice. Some very good advice. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to ask one more question, then I want your top 2 tips. So what is your number one thing that you use now, since you said that you've kind of exhausted your warm market, like to build your business? What would you say, if let's say you went through a day and you were busy, like you had a lot going on, what is one thing that you make sure that you do every single day to build your business, regardless of how busy your day is?
Yeah, well, I would say right now for me, and maybe because I, you know, started with Facebook, I love it and I know it. And so it's easy for me. I do everything on Facebook pretty much. I do a little on Instagram here and there, but it's not for me. I built up this huge account and that was all about it works. And then I stopped. It just didn't feel good. And I quit doing that. And so really for me, it's like, it's pretty much all Facebook and connections. You have to know what you are good at. I am good at connecting with people. And so my goal is to connect with as many people as possible, to put out as much like laughter and positivity. You know, I know who I am. I'm not the gorgeous girl with the gorgeous pictures, with the perfect filters, with the hair. I mean, it's never going to be me. Any picture that you see like that, I worked so hard. That did not come natural. Okay. That's just not who I choose to portray myself as, right? Like, so I try to stay within my lane and within my strengths there, and then branch out here and there. Does that make sense? So like, I still blitz. I still go do networking events. I still like vendor events, but small ones. I quit doing those ones where you spend $500 and everything's got to look perfect. Like I started doing just small little things. Like my friend's having a jewelry show at her house. Hey, can I tag along? And there may be 4 people there. Like those are the ways that I connect best with people and network best with people. Adding people and all of that is so important. But mainly just putting good stuff out there. I'm just such a firm believer that what you reap, you sow. I mean, it's so biblical, and I've seen the truth played out in this business that what you're putting out every day comes back to you. So I like to put out good stuff every single day to other people, inviting new people into my world, trying to be a part, you know, hoping that they'll invite me back into theirs. And so for me, it's just connecting. Connecting is like no matter what, every day I'm going to spend some time connecting. I wish that I could say, but I don't want to lie to you. So I could have said this maybe a year ago. I've fallen down on it a little bit more this year. I would have said always a message, like minimum, 5 to 10 messages a day of asking somebody. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily I haven't been as good at that as I was in years past. And my numbers reflect it for this year. My numbers are different this year than they were last year because, me being that proactive, I haven't done a very good job of that this year. I'm trying to get back on track to where I'm able to say every single day, no matter what, this many messages are going out, I would say follow-up and connecting are like the two things that without a doubt, I'm going to get them done every single day, no matter what. But I mostly use Facebook. It feels good. It's like an old friend and a warm hug, and I like it. And some people hate it and they say it's for old people, but I'm kind of old and I like it. So I stick with Facebook mostly.
Oh, I guess I'm old too. Facebook's my thing too. That's funny. Okay, so what would you say are your top 2 tips of all times? Like, or you can give your top tip for a new distributor and then a top tip for an old head.
Okay. So my first tip for a new, I'll give a new, if you're a new DT, welcome. Let me give you a tip. And then if you're an old DT, I'll give you a tip. Okay. So my tip for new distributors is to work with urgency. Work like your feet are on fire, or your hair. I would rather have my feet on fire than my hair on fire, because this is my moneymaker right here. Okay. We all have our thing. This is mine. So I would say work like your feet are on fire or your hair's on fire, whichever one you like the best. And know that you have your hands on something insane. You do. And every day that you don't do something with it, you're wasting it. You're wasting this amazing opportunity. All right. I've described it before. I was on a live or something with Aspen, and I've said this at my trainings before. Like, you know, if you think of this business like this huge field, and there's just gold in it, and you've got this backpack on, and your only job every day is to go pick up gold bars, you know, I mean, wouldn't that be the most insane job? That's what this business is like. And right now, I mean, there's just gold bars everywhere, and we just don't have enough people to go and pick them up. There just aren't people that will do the work and go pick them up. So realize what you have your hand on. Take your backpack and go put gold bars in your bag every single day, because that's exactly what this business is like. I've watched it happen with my own eyes. That'd be the tip for new, well, and kind of old distributors. And then, you know, I shared this today, and I shared this last weekend. And, you know, for those of you that have been in this business a while, I think one of the things that I would just encourage you to do is to not let yourself get frustrated. Don't let yourself get frustrated whenever you build somebody or you place under someone and then they don't react the way you want them to. They don't see that for the gift that it is. You know, I use this analogy that, you know, you guys saw Audrey at the beginning of the Zoom. She's 6 and she has no concept of money, right? If I give her 4 quarters, she thinks that's better than $20, like a $20 bill, right? She's like, but I have 4 of these and I only have 1 of these, because she only understands 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, basic math, right? She doesn't understand the value. And there are a lot of people that you will bring into your business that don't grasp the value of what we have. Okay. And they won't see it the same way that you do. And you will spend a long time. And what I would love to help you do is not spend the time that I spent mourning these people and frustrated at these people and mad and anger and, you know, just this feeling of I'm a terrible leader, when people don't understand the value of what maybe you've given them. You know, there are some people that you're going to, you know, I use this example. There's this girl that signed 4 loyal customers in 2 days, right? So I just signed her up. She put 4 loyal customers in the computer in like 2 days. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, right? Like 4 customers in 2 days is like, woohoo, I found my next rock star. Well, there hasn't been anything happen since the 6th. Nothing's happened. And it's not that she's not a rock star, but if I were to have just thrown a bunch of distributors under her and been like, oh, you get my next 3 distributors because I got to build a Ruby because I'm trying to get my points. And then I turn around and I'm mad at that girl that she doesn't understand. I've built you out for Ruby. How dare you, right? That's like me getting mad at Audrey when I give her $100 bill and she treats it the same way as she would a quarter. She doesn't understand the value. And so I would be really, really cautious for those of you that are building and working on your chart and you're like, oh, but Ashley, if I only had this girl, if I only, or she's not even running her auto ship. Doesn't she know what she has? No, the answer is no. She doesn't know what she's got her hands on because you helped build it for her. So when people don't have skin in the game, they don't understand the value fully. I understand the value of this business because I missed the time with my kids. I missed the time with my husband. I lost friendships during that time. I sacrificed greatly. And so I know the cost. And most people don't. And when we build it for them, we then can't turn around and be mad whenever they don't understand the value of it, because they didn't put the skin in the game. We put our skin. That's why it stings for us. And so I just have a lot of people that are kind of frustrated right now. I'm rebuilding and I'm blah, blah. I'm like, stop with the drama. Save it for your mama and your llama. Like we need to quit with the whole rebuilding thing. We're not rebuilding. We're in network marketing. We build. That's what we do over and over and over. Every month I'm working on something new. I'm not rebuilding anything. I'm just building because that's what I'm supposed to do. And so stop looking at it like this rebuilding, everything's falling apart. No, you built and now you got to build again. And you built and now you got to build again. And now you built and we're going to build and we're going to build and and that doesn't stop, you guys. That does not stop. If you want to be in network marketing and have it be a career, then the building doesn't stop. So don't think that you built this diamond and then now you get to be done. Okay? You didn't. You go build another one. What do I do then? Build another one. I remember when people would go Ruby on my team, I'd be like, congratulations. Here's an emerald chart. You win emerald, congratulations. Here's a diamond chart. Like you get about 9.5 seconds to celebrate and then let's go. It's time for the new chart because we're always building. So I would just encourage people, if that's probably not encouraging at all. It probably felt like preaching, but hopefully that helps some of you that have that frustration in your brain like I had. And I spent a long time being mad at the wrong people, you know? So there you go.
That is awesome. Amazing. Anything else you'd like to share? That was great.
I did realize that I've got best.
Are you drinking coffee?
No, I'm drinking hot water with lemon.
Okay.
That's what I do at night. That's one of my favorite things to do at night. And in the morning, I drink hot water with lemon.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. You too. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all the gems and for taking out the time tonight with my team. I really appreciate it because I know
you are most welcome.
Busy you are. So thank you so much. Thanks, my team, for hopping on, and I'll get you guys the recording. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.